Hello and welcome to the Crypto Masters podcast, helping the general public to master an understanding of crypto assets. My name is Brian McCoy.
My name is Ross Eaton.
And we are the Crypto Masters. Let's get started with today's episode. Today we're going to discuss a token called Polymath. As a reminder, our goal is to provide information about crypto assets to help the general public make investment decisions in the crypto space. We don't try to predict short-term price movements, so this show is not for short-term traders.
Yeah, we provide information to allow, the listeners to make their own financial decisions. Again, this is not financial advice here. And we hope to provide sufficient enough information, to kind of be the catalyst of your ever-growing research of crypto. So, after you listen to this, read the white paper, continue learning.
DYOR, do your own research.
Acronym.
So Ross, outside of the crypto world, Polymath, you know what a polymath is? I'll tell you. I won't put you on the spot. A polymath is a person of wide-ranging knowledge or learning. So some famous examples are Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin. But could it be that there are one or two polymaths operating in the crypto world today?
Brian, do you mean like Vitalik Buterin or Charles Hoskinson? Those?
Well, I was thinking about a couple of the crypto masters, but I guess yours will work too. But let's talk about the token.
Well, I don't want to brag, Brian.
That's good man. Your humility is impressive. Because it's a very interesting token, Polymath. The focus of the Polymath token is on security tokens. And a security token can be distinguished from a utility token. And I think we're all used to utility tokens. They sort of represent access to a network. So if you have to use the utility token, gas would be an example of Ethereum acting as a utility token.
Okay.
If it's a utility token, they use it to, or the token represents the ability to buy goods or services from that network. So utility means it has a use, it has a function. That's a utility token. On the other hand, a security token represents either a complete or a fractional ownership interest, or like a share of stock where you're essentially just investing and if others do their work in a way that makes your token worth more, then you make some money. That's a security. So you can see all kinds of examples. Stocks and bonds obviously are securities, but some other things are not so clear, and some of the crypto assets have fallen into the gray area in the past. So a lot of people, a lot of people think that the next big boom in crypto, whenever that is, will bring on a big rush into the securities tokens area, because the thought is people want to comply legally this time. And we recall the ICOs of the past were not compliant, and some of them got hit by the SEC. So that's kind of the space that Polymath operates in. So to launch a legally compliant token, Polymath platform, they try to bring together issuers, lawyers, smart contract developers, KYC verification, all in a decentralized exchange. So, and they use the Poly token, so it's POLY if you're going to buy the token, which you can. That's what will be used by the Polymath network. So it hopes to help issuers provide legally compliant security token offerings.
For sure, yeah. And I got to say, when I first got into crypto, this was back in, 2015, something like that. One of the issues for me was, what a part of this is legal? And even
you still hear that.
Oh, for sure. It definitely, you put it well, it's a gray area. And it even led me to take a couple law classes at I guess you can see on my laptop, I went to University of South Carolina. But yeah, law is still interesting, and how it, compares to crypto is, definitely an interesting subject. But, let's talk about how you would use, the Polymath network. Suppose you wanted to launch your own token, to raise some money for your project. And, after the crackdown of the whole, ICOs, the unregulated ICOs, which, if you don't know what that means, initial coin offering as opposed to initial public offering. Everyone was concerned about compliance with laws and regulations. So Polymath is solely here to help you figure all that and navigate that whole world. And, when you're out to create a new token, I mean, Brian, do you want to be focused on, your code quality, how it works, or do you want to be focused on this legal stuff, as they say? You want to focus on making the best token you can instead of all this bureaucratic legal bureaucracy stuff. So I think Polymath is a great simple solution for that. It just kind of helps you not worry about it, essentially. So
I think that's the use case, right? It's but it's companies or people who are going to launch some kind of platform or token or something else, and they just we need to make sure this is legally compliant in all countries, so that that doesn't basically shut us down. So that's when they're going to turn to Polymath and what it offers. So you can see that. So that's its use case, and you can see that being the case because you think about most people that we know who are sort of creators of crypto assets. They're coders and things like that. They're not even know. They really wouldn't know where to start. I don't know. They'd be like, I don't know a securities lawyer. I don't know any issuers how to do this in a legally compliant way. So that's the niche being filled by Polymath, and a couple of others are in the space as well. And you mentioned ICOs and then IPOs. Most people are familiar with. These are called and going to be called STOs, security token offerings. So that's kind of what they hope becomes the new part of the lingo.
For sure.
Let's go into but also for those of you who are just like us, interested in investing in the space, you can just invest in the Poly token. Let's get into a little bit of the background about that. Poly was launched in around January of 2018, so it's been around a while. It's not one of these newbies. It has a circulating supply of 531 million Poly and a total supply of 1 billion Poly. And like we said, if you just want to be an investor, you can buy it on Binance, Hotbit, not on any of the major exchanges yet, not on Coinbase or eToro or Kraken. But if you want it badly enough, you can get it. Like I say, Hotbit is available in the U.S. Binance is available and about everywhere else. So it is possible to get it. We said it's a token, so there isn't any mining. But Ross, it is on a blockchain, but there was a change in that. So I'll let you touch on that.
Yeah, for sure. So again, it started on Ethereum.
Of course.
Is that just a central theme here? Everything starts on Ethereum.
Yeah.
But through its experience, they decided if we're going to be dedicated to securities, that's our sole purpose. We have to have our own purpose-built blockchain instead of Ethereum as a general purpose blockchain. You can create smart contracts for literally everything and anything. So they switched over to their own blockchain, and it's called Polymesh. Yes, Polymesh. And the Polymesh mainnet was it's scheduled to be launched in first quarter of 2021 So it's coming up.
I saw their test nets. Their test nets are out now.
Testnet is up. Yep. So
for the new blockchain. So here's something that I found impressive about Polymath. So, like you said, the public blockchain, Ethereum, wasn't working for it. There were just too many aspects of how do we do this on a public blockchain. I think, for certain types of security tokens, you can only be limited to like accredited investors. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was one of the issues. How do we do that with a public blockchain? So anyway, there were some other issues like that, which made them decide we need to be on a blockchain that's dedicated just to security offerings or security tokens. And so they did that. I mean, they start Polymesh. So that's pretty impressive. We see a need. Excuse me, we have to fill it, so we'll do it. And I know that when it was announced in 2019, Charles Hoskinson was announced as having some involvement with it. And I think he still does, but I haven't seen anything recently.
Yeah, I haven't found anything either.
Yeah, so
but you hear his name all over the place.
you do, and you hear it involved with this project, which gives it, I mean, really instant credibility. But in any event, so they needed their own blockchain, so they did it. And the other thing that they needed was a standard for security tokens. You know, ERC20 is kind of the standard for tokens generally on the Ethereum network, but that again had some issues specific to security tokens. So there needed to be a standard for security tokens, and Polymath again took the lead and developed the ERC 1400 standard, which has now become the standard for security token smart contracts.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. There were a couple things they needed, and they just did it. You know what I mean? They got their own blockchain, the Polymesh. They got their own standard, the ERC 1400. So I'm impressed by that.
No, and it really speaks to kind of the validity of the whole project. You know, they had a need for a blockchain, they did it. They had a need for a new standard of a ERC20 token, they did it. They created it. I mean, this is a huge backing for the project. I think huge news.
Right.
So yeah. Let's talk about security tokens briefly. I know our last episode was on Ravencoin, but if you're just tuning in now, one of the most important aspects of security tokens is compliance with governing security laws, regulations. The I don't know if you want to call it the big and bad, scary, the SEC.
The SEC.
Not the Southeastern Conference, which the Gamecocks are a part of, but yes.
Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yes. So, but yeah, I mean, it's the fear of, a lot of projects, is the big bad SEC going to come in and shut this thing down? And, they're all, security tokens are about appeasing the mighty SEC.
Or whatever other jurisdiction they're in, they're equivalent to that.
Sure.
So in other countries, we're in the United States, so that's the big.
I got a narrow mind about the SEC, so thank you for that, Brian. But it's and another sorry, I'm losing my place here. Is security tokens can really tokenize real world assets.
Yeah.
Real estate, piece of art, stuff like that.
Right, and that's really cool. I mean, sort of two aspects to this, like you said. One is the legal compliance, and the other is tokenizing real world assets. So in March of 2020, there was a large commercial project called Red Swan, and they tokenized a $2.2 billion commercial real estate project using Polymath technology. So that was very impressive. And, what Polymath says is they make it easy to create, issue, and manage digital securities on a blockchain.
Yeah. And, another a part of this security token kind of world of crypto is having that fractional ownership. So, it's in real estate now. You can go in with a buddy and split, a property, but it's not seen everywhere. It's not, can I dare say it's not built into the system? This is built for that. Polymath is built for that. Security tokens are built for that. So, yeah.
And it just gives a lot of more flexibility to owners, or to the creation, really, for example, of a large commercial project. I don't know what the deep pocket guys do now, but, they probably try to find another few guys who they know who have a few $1 million laying around to invest in a project, but not all of us have that. And so what the tokenization allows is you break it down into much smaller pieces that are able to be sold, and then hopefully there'll be a secondary market for those, and it just makes all these tokenizing parts of bigger real world projects to be feasible. So that's kind of what they're out to do. You want to we always mention the team involved. Here it was Polymath was founded by a guy named Trevor Kaverko and Chris Hauser. And Kaverko is a Canadian, and some of the background I see on him, he was an early investor in Bitcoin. And then when Ethereum was first having its initial sales, he got involved in that, and then just stayed active in the area, which is very understandable. And there's one other guy who helped start it as well.
Yeah, so maybe you already mentioned it, but Chris Hauser, he was a lawyer in Toronto before co-founding Polymath. And the company is based out of Barbados. I guess it's a bit warmer than Canada. So.
Their winters are probably a little better than in Toronto or wherever else in Canada. But no disrespect to our Canadian listeners. We love Canada. It's our 51st state. So, sorry about that, Canada. No, Canadians are great. All right, let's. Ross, I think we've hit the highlights of Polymath. If people want to get to know the details about it, do your own homework, but I think we've laid it out enough where someone can decide if it's something they might want to invest in or not. So let's get to final thoughts.
Yeah. I'll go first this week, Brian. I love it. Stamp of approval from Ross over here.
Nice.
I think when I tell people, when it accidentally slips out at work, I talk about, Bitcoin or whatever to coworkers. I mean, the big thing is, is this regulated? Is this following rules? Is it legal? And I think security tokens, with the mission of compliance and complying to laws and rules and regulation of certain countries, I see this being the next big thing, as everyone's talking about. I really do.
When the securities tokens bull market starts, right? That's kind of what you're waiting for. And so go ahead. Did you finish?
No, that's it.
All right. So you're like it. You're bullish. You're going to buy.
Yes. I'm definitely going to sit on this one and wait, and maybe we'll see a TCM token in the future.
The Crypto Masters.
Yes,
I like
Crypto
it.
Masters.
We mentioned that. I think we mentioned that on the Ravencoin show too, that we might tokenize something just to do it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, might as well.
The TCM token. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my final thoughts. I think I agree, Ross. I really like what they're doing. You can see the need for it because I'm a lawyer. But if we were to start a token and wanted to make it legally compliant, I would pretty much be scratching my head like most everyone else. I mean, I understand securities laws. I took the class in law school, probably dabbled in it a little bit earlier in my career when I was involved in that aspect of the law and venture capital deals. But, even now, if someone came to me and put me on the spot, hey, what do I got to do to make this legally compliant? Well, let me look into that. That's what I would say. So for Polymath to make this available to, really people who are coders for the most part and people who do know crypto but don't know the law of securities and issuers, how do we actually do this?
Yeah.
It really gives them a place to go. And I think that's very needed. It's great for them. I think, I don't know, Ross, what would you say now we have as real crypto assets? I mean, there's more than 2,000, but when you get down below that, I'm not sure how real they are. But right now there's a couple of thousand. And I'm just going back to the boom in, late 2017, early 2018 when all the ICOs came, right? A flood of them, an avalanche. So I think that's what people are sort of waiting for to happen again. Once we get a big bull market and Bitcoin starts going up again exponentially, there's going to be a flood of more tokens. I mean, that's what, and coins. So this is what everyone is expecting, only they're thinking this time they're not going to go to the ICOs. it's too risky. And
Oh,
I
for sure.
agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
So to do it legally compliant, they're going to need something like this. Like this, I mean Polymath. My pause is, it's not a mass market token, right? I mean, we can invest in it, but we're not going to use it as a mass market. Whereas, a lot of the DeFi, say tokens, almost anyone in the public can loan and borrow money. I mean, we sort of do it every day now with centralized banks. So that's sort of those are assets that are open to the general public. This is a pretty narrow niche when you think about it. How many companies are going to be making tokens, and wanting to comply? So it's a narrow niche, but if the bull market takes off and if there's enough of them, then presumably, Polymath has the tokenomics down so that that demand would make their coin go up in value or their token go up in value. So yeah, I'm high on the platform, the products and services in a sense that Polymath offers. I wonder a little bit about the demand. If the demand can get to the point where you and I just buying and holding, being hodlers, is that going to make the value of our tokens go up enough to make it worthwhile?
No, and you kind of shocked my memory there, Brian. I meant to mention this in kind of my review. It's like, is this target market big enough to really make it boom or anything? But I still think it's a solid project for this target market of projects and getting all their legal ends tied together.
I guess what their response might be is something like, is Goldman Sachs a good investment now? I mean, because part of their role is taking companies for IPOs, or other investment banks. They say, look, investment banks are profitable. So in a sense, we're providing the services that an investment bank does now. So yeah, of course it's profitable. I suppose that would be the response.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point.
Yeah, but still, you got to say, well, there aren't really that many. So I don't know. I have it on my list. Okay, as one that I'm keeping an eye on. I guess I have it on my watch list.
Yeah.
For Poly. I don't know any now. Do you?
No, I do not. But I think I'm going to get some because call me crazy, but I think there's another, a Bitcoin run up coming up, and like you said, more more run up, more tokens being issued, and they're going to have a solution like this.
Yeah, and here's my suggestion to our listeners: find out if you think there's going to be a security tokens bull market. If crypto in general has another bull market, are securities tokens going to boom? Okay, a lot of people think the answer to that's yes. And if you agree with that, if you're in that camp, then I think this is something you might want to invest in.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Excellent point.
I think we have covered Polymath, an interesting token. What do you think, Ross?
Very interesting. Very interesting, Brian. I like it.
All right. Well, that's been another podcast from the Crypto Masters.
Yep. Guys, check us out. Follow us. Like that subscribe button. Subscribe that like button. Give us that feedback. We love it.
Yeah. If you're listening to us on a podcast, please subscribe. We have these coming out about once a week, talking about different assets. If you're watching us on video on YouTube, go ahead and do the subscriber thing. We're trying to build up a base and keep bringing out new tokens and coins to discuss every week.
That's right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.